there is a problem in the camp of Tinubu as a court, an international court at that, has declared that both APC, led by Tinubu, where Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, comes from, and PDP are both terrorist organizations. This court believes and has declared, they have passed a ruling that Tinubu's APC and PDP too are terrorist organizations. This is a very, very troubling news, declaring that APC is a terrorist organization. They have been in power for many years now after they took over from PDP, and also declaring that People's Democratic Party, PDP, is also a terrorist organization. This is what we'll be looking at in this very video. Of course, you know that in Noble Media, our work is to give you the news as it is dropping. So if you have not subscribed, right now click on subscribe immediately as we begin to look at this news. Why did this court in Canada declare Tinubu's APC as a terrorist organization? Why did they declare that PDP is a terrorist organization, that APC is a terrorist organization? This is a great indictment, and we'll be looking at it right now in this video. So go ahead. Canadian court declares APC, PDP terrorist organizations, denies asylum to fleeing Nigerian politician. There is a politician that is running away from Nigeria, and because these people believe that both APC and Tinubu, both APC and PDP are terrorist organizations, they deny this fleeing politician asylum in their country. Let's now focus here. We'll now give you details of this news. If you have not subscribed, click on subscribe. This is a very, very important news that we must look at. A Canadian federal court has upheld a landmark immigration tribunal ruling that declared Nigeria's major political parties, the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party, terrorist organizations, while refusing asylum to a former member, Douglas Egereva, over his decade-long affiliation with both parties. Just follow. In a judgment delivered on June 17, 2025, obtained by People's Gazette, is a news house in Nigeria where we got this info from, Justice Fong Ngo dismissed Mr. Egereva's application for judicial review after Canada's Immigration Appeal Division found him admissible under security provisions of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. The Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness had argued that the PDP and the APC were deeply implicated in acts of political violence, subversion of democracy, and electoral bloodshed, inflicting harm and terror on Nigerians. This is what the court is saying. Why are they saying that APC is a terrorist organization and PDP is a terrorist organization? This is the reason, and I want you to come under the comment of this video and tell us if you agree with them or if you think they are biased in their assessment. The Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness had argued that the PDP and APC were deeply implicated in, number one, political violence. Number two, is it true? Tell us in the comment. Subversion of democracy. Number three, electoral bloodshed. Number four, inflicting harm on Nigerians. And number five, terror, inflicting terror on Nigerians. Can you imagine? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Mr. Egereva, who joined the PDP at its founding in 1999, left in 2007 when he defected to the APC, staying there until 2017. You know, in Nigeria, politicians defect from the camp from one party to another party, then they camp again to another party. They keep moving around, unlike what we have in the US. He claimed that his personal record was untainted by the violence and manipulation that plagued Nigerian politics. At least he agreed that these things are rampant in Nigerian politics, insisting he had never personally engaged in terrorism or subversion. But Justice Ngo was unconvinced, writing that the conduct of individuals who are members of the PDP, including high-ranking officials and those who committed political violence and intimidation on their behalf, is too widespread and persistent over too great a period of time to disassociate the leadership of the party from their actions. We must now move on. According to this court, do you think this kind of ruling will ever happen in Nigeria? Do you think a Nigerian court or even an African court will be bold enough to make this kind of pronouncement on a ruling party? According to the filing, Mr. Egareva entered Canada in September 2017 and disclosed his political history in a background declaration form. Under questioning by the Canada Border Service Agency in 2018, he confirmed his 8-year PDP membership before switching to the APC. Canadian immigration authorities flagged his affiliation, citing intelligence and international reports that link both parties to electoral misconduct and politically motivated killings. They are saying that Canada, this court in Canada, judiciary still works in several parts of the world, although most of the time judiciary is in the pocket of the political leaders, the politicians in most African nations, especially Nigeria. Yet there are still some nations that the judiciary works. You cannot corrupt them, you cannot bribe them. And this court is saying that they are linking the intelligence of Canada has linked both APC and PDP, where this man belongs to electoral misconduct and politically motivated killings. Do you believe it? The IAD focused on the PDP's record during the 2003 and 2004 polls as sufficient and determinative for his case, but the court acknowledged evidence that political violence was not unique to one party, reflecting a broader culture of malpractice in Nigeria political class. What do you think? If you are a Nigerian and you are in Nigeria watching this video, tell us what you feel. Do you think this is a clear picture of what has been going on in your nation? Or have you been part of it? In January 2019, an immigration officer declared Egereva inadmissible under Section 34 of the IRPA, covering terrorism and subversion of democracy. While the Immigration Division initially ruled in his favor in 2020, saying there was insufficient evidence to prove party leadership directly orchestrated killings or intended to undermine democracy, the minister appeared with new evidence. However, on March 25, 2024, the IAD overturned the decision, concluding that the PDP engaged in acts of subversion and terrorism, and that mere membership, regardless of personal involvement, triggered inadmissibility. The country doesn't want this man just because he was affiliated to these political parties. We must now move on. Justice Ngo's ruling last month upheld that conclusion. Central to the decision was the PDP's violent record during the 2003 state election and 2004 local government polls, when it controlled the federal government and most states during the tenure of former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Most of the time, the crimes people commit, even those committed in 1980s and 1990s, we live on. We keep following them. You may run away in Nigeria, you may run away in some African nations, but most times when you go to several other nations, you cannot escape. Just like a former senator in Nigeria, Senator Ekekweremadu, has been in jail overseas because he was linked to organ harvesting and all the rest. So these are cases that if they were tried in Nigeria or in some other African nations, these politicians will scare through, but it doesn't happen like that. in other parts of the world. The IAD found and the judge agreed that PDP members and loyalists engage in ballot stuffing, ballot box snatching, voter intimidation, and the killing of opposition supporters and candidates. These are the these are official record that they have. Okay, we must now move on. The party leadership, enjoying the benefit of such violence, took no action to stop it. Justice Ngo said this met Canada's legal definition of subversion of a democratic process under paragraph 34, section 1, subsection D1 of the IRPA, meaning accomplishing change by illicit means or for improper purposes related to an organization, even without the use of force. We must now move on. The court also reaffirmed Canada's broad interpretation of membership in a proscribed organization under paragraph 34, subsection 1F of the IRPA. The government need not prove personal complicity or significant integration. Acknowledging membership during violent period was enough. Just being a member of these political parties in this case is enough to indict you. An admission of membership in an organization is sufficient, regardless of the nature, frequency, duration, or degree of involvement, Justice Ngo stated. Mr. Egberevo's argument that violence was endemic across all Nigerian parties and that it was unfair to call the PDP's action subversion when Nigeria's election could not be deemed democratic by Canadian standards was dismissed as legally untenable. You know, most of the things that are accepted over here in our democracy is not the same as in what happens in most nations in Africa. Okay. Justice Ngo wrote that even flawed Nigerian elections constitute a democratic process under Canadian law, and the undermining them for political gain is subversion. The ruling stands as one of the clearest pronouncements by a foreign court equating Nigerians ruling and former ruling parties, with terrorist entities under international law. It reaffirmed that party membership abroad can justify exclusion from Canada if the organization is linked to terrorism or democratic subversion. It reaffirmed that party membership abroad can justify exclusion from Canada if the organization is linked to terrorism and democratic subversion, even without a criminal record or evidence of personal violence. Even if the individual himself or herself is not committing violence, but if he or she is a member of a political party that commits those actions, Canadian law sees the person as a suspect. Justice Ngo rejected Mr. Egberevo's request to reinstate the original 2020 decision in his favor, ruling that even if the IADA's conclusion had been unreasonable, the case would not have been sent back for reconsideration, not decided outright in his favor. We must now move on. The dismissal leaves Mr. Egberevo's asylum claim effectively dead, with deportation proceeding expected to follow. This man will be deported very soon because he is affiliated, or he was a member of what? Because he was a member of the PDP, and because he is currently a member of Tinubu's APC. What do you think about all this? Let us know in the comment section. This is what it is. Do you wish that this kind of measures should be applied more to more of Nigerian and African leaders? What do you think? Let us know. If you have not subscribed, click on subscribe. You want to be a member of our YouTube channel, click on join to join. You have not liked this video, click on join. And most importantly, there's an important video on the screen. There's a very, very crucial and important video on the screen. Click on that video now and watch.